So we were on week 13, I assume, and I had not shared any extra prayer for week 13, owing to the fact that week 12 had two prayers which we could not cover. So today we are going to take up that second prayer from week 12. I'll just put it on screen here. Okay, so if I think 15. Yes, this is the one that we have to. Yeah, hi Jasmine. I was asking, where are you located in India?
Punjab near Ludhiana.
अरे वाह
गर्मी बहुत है, but
गर्मी बहुत है हाँ yeah
it's nice. Yeah, but it's nice. It's nice to
okay
be there.
great
Yeah.
great
So
good
I'm
to have you
excited. I was actually, yeah, I was again confused about the timing.
oh
Like Sham ko, I'm not used to it.
okay
Yeah,
okay
yeah.
ठीक है so anyone who feels ready please
So let's start.
yeah read the prayer for all of us. I hope the
I can
screen.
read it today.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, please.
Is my voice okay?
Yes, your voice is okay. Yes.
Okay. Okay. February 15, 1914. O thou sole reality, light of our light and life of our life, love supreme, Saviour of the world, grant, grant that more and more I may be perfectly awakened into the awareness of thy constant presence. Let all my acts conform to thy law. Let there be no difference between my will and thine. Extricate me from the illusory consciousness of my mind, from its world of fantasy. Let me identify my consciousness with the absolute consciousness, for that art thou. Give me constancy in the will to attain the end. Give me firmness and energy and the courage which shakes off all torpor and lassitude. Give me the peace of perfect disinterestedness, the peace that makes thy presence felt and thy intervention effective, the peace that is ever victorious over all bad will and every obscurity. Grant, I implore thee, that all in my being may be identified with thee. May I be nothing else any more than a flame of love, utterly awakened to a supreme realization of thee. Beautiful. What a beautiful prayer.
Yeah. Thank you so much for reading it out. So anyone who feels like sharing, Jasmine, if you have any lines that resonate and if any reflections are coming, please feel free.
Yeah. No, I just think it's beautiful. I've been feeling very maybe it's the jet lag or something. I've been feeling very disconnected, but this prayer was really beautiful. And I think give me the peace of perfect disinterestedness, the peace that makes thy presence felt. I feel like I haven't felt it in the last 2-3 days. So like I've been feeling a little bit. So that disinterestedness, perfect, I would like you to read it and expand on it a little bit more. I think I can read this prayer 2-3 times just to get more centered today.
Yeah, true that. Yeah, very true. I think all of the prayers are like that, even if you just go
I
through
like
it.
that. I know
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
feels like it's just meant for you, the same day. Yeah. And
Okay.
and like you talked in the session, so much reminders are needed. So easy to just slip again and again. So,
Very true.
yeah.
Very true. Yeah.
So that's what we need: the firmness, the energy, the courage. Even in the paragraph before, give me constancy in the will to attain the end. Persistence is needed. Beautiful. Yeah. I'll let somebody else.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing and reading it out for all of us. Yeah, so anyone who feels like sharing anything that is coming, please unmute and share. Jishnuji, would you like to go ahead since you have not been sharing for a long time? Maybe start with you.
Sure, sure,
Yeah.
Kavitaji. So,
Sorry?
yeah, sure, I will share.
Please. Yeah, yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so first is beauty of the language, which we always contemplate, the beauty and with which she has chosen her words, how she formed the sentences. That is very, very perfect. I always reflect that we know so much about Sri Aurobindo's poetry, or we comment so much about uh, his writings, his poetry, but how beautifully Mother has penned prayers and meditations. And probably we should know that when one of the sadhaks in the ashram, he tried to do, he tried to translate one of Mother's prayers. And he worked for whole night, and then he came to Mother and he said that I give up, I cannot translate. And she said, my child, I didn't say anything to you, not to discourage you, but let me tell you, Sri Aurobindo had also tried. And when we look at this, when we look at the prayers, if we look attentively, just about the construction of the language, the sentences, they're so perfect, beautiful, yet it reflects the timeless concepts of devotion, of love, of aspiration. That I always feel, and I think probably we have not discussed, maybe in my presence or absence, so to bring that out. Now, coming to this specific prayer, what struck me is, which she always has spoken, which Mother always gave emphasis, is the constant reminder of our goals, constant reminder of our goals in whichever field of life we are. And she is saying here, I may be perfectly awakened in the awareness of thy constant presence. Let all my acts conform to thy law. That is, let me never do anything. She's not talking about good or bad, mistake or right. She said, let me not do anything, or rather, she put it in a positive way. Let all my acts conform to thy law. That is, let me always do everything or anything that you approve, or which is as per the divine wish, not something else, which can be anything. And we have seen in the history, like Joan the Arc, which was Mother's previous incarnation, she had gone to battlefield based on the intuition, based on the divine command. So same, it is not any question of violence or non-violence, bloodshed or not bloodshed. I will do anything that the divine commands. That is what she is. Once again, penning. Let there be no difference between my will and thine. That is a constant union between the divine and the mother. Extricate from me all illusory consciousness of my mind. And we all know, right, that especially whoever is trying to do a little bit of sadhana, that it is these attractions, these distractions in our path, which, and why are this, why, what are these distractions? Something that we think of value. We are distracted because something we are giving attention, importance, and value to this maybe object, person, or vocations, which we feel is more important. And I was recently reading one novel on Chaitanya Dev's birth, Chaitanya Dev. So there he is talking to one of his disciples, and he is saying, what's the most precious thing? His disciple is saying, the love of Krishna. He said, oh, yes, bhakti, basically bhakti. And he said, what is the biggest loss? And his disciple is saying that the biggest loss is the lack of devotion or lack of love of Krishna. And that is the thing. We get distracted for maybe money, person, things, because we feel that this money, this person, this fame or profession or vocation is more important than the divine wish, or maybe more important than the internal goal of uniting with the psychic, or whichever way, which we feel that it is more important. And why? Because it's ignorance. Once we cross that stage, we understand the mistake or the error, and we understand that it is an ignorance. It is not any external or internal thing. That's what Mother has said in the first part of the sentence, that let me do everything that you wish. And the second thing is, let me not get distracted with anything outside me. Extricate me from all illusory consciousness of my mind, from its world of fantasies, exactly as I said, distractions. Let me identify my consciousness with the absolute consciousness, and that art thou. So let me unite, remain concentrated on the absolute, which is true. And it is not a withdrawal, it is not a static state. Let me work by uniting with you, by uniting my will with you. Give me constancy in the will to attain the end. Give me firmness and energy and the courage which shakes off all torpor and lassitude. So give me the endurance with which I can reach the end. It needs tremendous courage. We all know from our respective lives, it needs tremendous energy, courage, dedication. Just probably just to come here on this every Tuesday from 7 to 8, it requires tremendous sacrifice for some of us probably here. So give me the constancy in the will, that unwavering will to attain the end, firmness and energy and courage with which we can come out of this tamasic state, whatever torpor and lassitude, that is laziness and inertness. Give me the peace of perfect disinterestedness. It's a beautiful sentence. The peace. When we are disinterested, we are peaceful. When we are interested, and most probably I have not seen the French sentence. Probably here she is saying beyond any attraction. So I was just reading something on a lighter side that somebody went to Raman Maharshi and said, Lord, I don't want anything. I just need moksha. And the Raman Maharshi didn't say anything, didn't reply. Yeah, he was a man of few words. Before leaving, he just said, if you do not want anything, that itself is moksha. So that is what Mother is saying. Give me the peace of perfect disinterestedness. That is not anything. Let my mind get entangled or ourselves get entangled with anything. Whatever is coming, the other side of it, if we accept whatever is coming to us is from the divine, we become peaceful. Whatever circumstances, person, whatever is happening in our life is created by the divine. If we accept that, we will find immediately peaceful. The peace that makes thy presence felt and thy intervention effective. Why thy presence felt? Because with that peace we feel, in that peace when we are quiet, Mother said in the quiet, you can listen to the divine's actions. Similarly, thy intervention effective, because when the divine, many people, many great yogis, gurus have spoken about it, that divine is talking to us or nature is talking to us. We are not able to hear because of the noise in our mind. If we become quiet, if we pay attention, we will be able to hear. Most importantly, we are not able to hear because of the desires and preferences in us. A peace that is ever victorious over bad will, every obscurity, and that peace with which we can overcome all bad will and obscurity. Grant, I implore thee, that all in my being may be identified with thee. That is, let me be identified with you in entirety. In later talks, Mother has spoken so many times about the need to unify our being, which maybe probably in modern management theme they say that how we can harmonize conflicting compulsions in us. A part of us wants something, a part of us wants name, fame, money, a part of us wants to be united with the psychic being. So how to bring everything together, how to unite? May I be nothing else any more than a flame of love, utterly awakened to a supreme realization of peace. So surely it is a poetically expressed, but Mother is emphasizing that nothing but a flame of love, just like a flame of love. Flame uh, as a symbol is the symbol of purification, aspiration, Mother has spoken that it is the psychic flame which takes us, gives us the faith, the endurance to go through all the vicissitudes in the path, and she wants to be that flame. That would be from my side.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vishnuji. Thank you. So, yeah, I think it's really all encompassing what all you shared and the prayer itself. So, anyone else? Anyone else would like to share anything on the prayer? So, I thought maybe just to kind of give it a kind of a additional touch, I thought we'll maybe watch a teaching on this, something related. And then there are a few words from Meher Baba, a book I've been reading lately. I thought I'll just share it because whatever is written in the discourses or talks by Meher Baba is, I find it very, very resonating with mothers and Sri Aurobindo's words. So I'll share those later after we watch this little teaching, about 10 minutes or so, if that is okay with everyone. I'll just share the screen. Mm. So, since we were talking about peace, and Jasmine also shared that somehow I feel a bit here and there because of the travel, the jet lag, and also when the physical surroundings change, that also kind of sway us a little. So, it's about stabilizing in peace. I thought maybe it may resonate with some of us. So, I'll just open it up.
You again. Hi, nice to see you. There we are. Yes, good. Hi.
Yeah, so over the last 2.5 years, I haven't been to school and I've only worked like 2 days a week or so. And so I've had a lot of time meditating and just being at home. And now just this week, I decided, or previously as well, but now school began again. And
Timo, when you say school, sorry, I know school in America and England means slightly different thing. What stage are you? What stage is what?
okay, so 2.5
stage of
years ago,
school?
I graduated high school 2.5 years ago, and
Yes.
I'm going back to like high school for adults because I want to get some higher certificates.
Okay,
So
so it's not college or university.
no,
You're going back to high school as a mature student, so to speak.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay, good. Yeah.
And so I decided to do that partially to get better certificates, but also actually because I thought it'd be a great yoga, a nice challenging yoga pose. And that turned out to be very much the case. In fact, so challenging that my mind was completely, last few days, just it felt like it just took a massive hit. Like over the last few months, I felt quite increasingly stable and established, or not like fully established, but slowly progressing. And now it's like it feels like I'm 10 steps back, and I know that's not the case because um, it's like these new stimuli are awakening old habits of the separate self
Yeah.
that were dormant and didn't get triggered, and now everything's getting triggered. And I know that's a very good thing, but it's quite challenging to kind of keep up with it, and um, at the same time actually be able to pay attention to to the class and homework and everything. um, so I was wondering if you had some advice on how to manage this increase in intensity.
The first thing to say, Timo, is that I think it's a very good thing, but your decision to go back to school and to get qualifications, more qualifications that will give you greater choices in life, greater skills, qualifications. So I think that's a very good thing. You've had this last couple of years or so, I know you've been very deeply involved in this understanding, exploring your true nature, and that will stand you in very good stead, not only for school, but later, obviously. But it's very good, I think. I completely approve of your going back to school. I can also completely understand the challenges that suddenly your mind is being required to work in a way that it probably hasn't for a couple of years. So yes, it's probably a bit rusty, and maybe also throws up some old issues that have been dormant in you for a while. All of which, as you rightly say, is a very good thing. The peace that cannot stand these kind of experiences is not real peace. It's a fragile peace. It's not the stable peace. So just as you are doing, you should welcome this test of your stability, this test of your establishment in your true nature, and not to think of it as a failure if you find yourself lost in thoughts and feelings and so on, but to consider it as I know you do, an opportunity to just go deeper into yourself, but in this case not in the absence of experience, alone at home with the bedroom door shut, but out in the world with students who are now probably a couple of years younger than you, most of them.
No,
is that right?
mostly
No,
about the same age.
they're mostly adult,
Yeah.
mature. Okay,
That's
okay.
like a special high school for.
I see. Okay. But even so, it has its plenty of associated challenges. So welcome them, just embrace them completely. These are life's challenges whose purpose, for one who is deeply in love with the truth, as you are, is not to thwart us in any way, but to help us become more stable in this felt understanding, not just in the absence of experience, but in the midst of experience, which in your case means in the midst of studying and deadlines and tests and exams or whatever it is you have to face. But so all I would say is one, I would say I approve very much of your going back into school, to studying. You'll be learning new skills, all of which in time will be used in the service of your understanding in the world, whatever work, whatever field you find yourself in the world. I've no doubt in your case that it will be in some ways an expression of your understanding, and you are acquiring at school, you are acquiring the skills and abilities that you will need to do that later in life. So don't worry about the challenges. Don't worry if you sometimes feel that it knocks you completely off your peaceful perch. Don't worry. Just allow yourself to be knocked off your peaceful perch, and because you know where the place of refuge is in yourself. You know how to come back there. So don't prevent yourself. Don't allow your love of truth from preventing yourself to go fully out into the world, even if at times it may seem that your love of truth has to recede a little bit in order to enable you to fully engage in activities and relationships.
Yeah, that's what I've been feeling as well. There was this kind of conflict.
So I think those of us who are interested in the complete teaching, I can share that later. And this was
Thank you, Monica.
yeah.
Very apt.
Yeah.
It's just amazing, and it also brings me, brings some faith, as if I've been feeling lost again, thoda sa. And it's a good thing because अब जैसे how you talk के अब थोड़ा radar थोड़ा sensitive हो गया है, so when you go off, नहीं तो it takes time, so you can actually be more sensitive to it. So perfect video, thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad. So I think this is really beautiful that we don't have to prevent ourselves to be engaged in the world, since according to Mother and Sri Aurobindo, even whatever is impermanent is the manifestation of divine only. What else? So I don't have to say that only in meditative peace I'm stable, and when I go out I become destabilized. I think we should allow, as Rupert was sharing, that we should allow ourselves these experiences only to realize that to be able to even stand in peace in the midst of everything. So that would be the true mark of a greater peace. And I remember this very little anecdote from mother, where I think somebody was sharing in the ashram that, mother, look, these people are making a lot of noises when I'm meditating, something like that. Maybe I think Jishnuji would know the whole episode. And mother said that uh, how is it possible, because we meditate all the time, me and Sri Aurobindo are meditating all the time, and we don't need only a quiet surrounding. You should be able to meditate wherever you are, in the midst of everything. Jishnuji, was it something like this? I'm not really exacting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so what happened is somebody was allotted a room and he said, I cannot concentrate here. And I think Nirodha or somebody was working, so he complained that I cannot meditate. Then mother told that how is that possible? I mean, one should be able, if one is really meditating, one should be able to concentrate in midst of a battlefield. Another thing is, this is one, but another thing which is much closer to people here in the NCR, it happened with Tara Didi. So when they were young, they used to go and wait to meet mother near Sri Aurobindo's room. And uh, 3, 4 girls, and they used to talk among each other, play with each other. So one sadhak who used to stay near that balcony, afternoon he would come out and he used to scold. So he used to tell Sri Aurobindo is getting disturbed or something. Then one day mother came out of the room and said, this is not the top floor, third floor room. This is second floor room where the backside balcony is. And then mother came out and said that it is not Sri Aurobindo, but you are getting disturbed. Sri Aurobindo is not getting disturbed. Even I have heard from my someone who was like my grandmother at the ashram. So if you see currently, below mother's balcony, old balcony, that garage is there where mother's car used to be kept. Earlier, there used to be the workshop, the atelier, where they used to repair things. And she used to say there used to be so much noise, but we have never heard from mother or Sri Aurobindo that they are getting disturbed by that noise. Now that atelier has shifted beside the ashram. If we go towards the gate side, that atelier is there, and that noise doesn't reach this side.
Yeah, beautiful. I think it was mother again talking about this mantra Om Namo Bhagavate, which she used to transform the physical, for that physical transformation. And she would say that wherever she is doing it all the time, like, as if a parallel consciousness is developed and a continuous Om Namo Bhagavate is going on within, while she is worldly being engaged in, interactions and participations in sports and whatever, all that she did. So
Yeah, she always spoke. Actually, if you read, if we go through the works, Sri Aurobindo has not spoken much or rather very little about mantra.
mm-hmm.
And he said nothing about what should be done, what should not be done. He purely concentrated on aspiration. If you read agenda, especially around when my mother started doing the mantra, she said that if Sri Aurobindo would have reached this stage of transformation where we stand, then he would have 100% spoken about mantra.
Yeah.
Main thing is, which mother said is, she said that I looked at these people who come to me, and some of them who are doing mantra or who they are doing this job seriously, I see that they have like a coating, like they are like a cocoon, something impervious to the external surroundings. And third thing is, there is a concept in the traditional Hindu methods, which is called ajapa jap, which is happening constantly within yourself.
without putting
People,
effort. Yeah.
even people who are doing it in sleep, when they get up from sleep, they can see that they're still doing that mantra.
Beautiful.
And mother, naturally, mother being mother, when she immediately did, she could get into the vibration of the thing. In fact, mothers got this mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate, because we know it's a traditional mantra. Mother was watching a film in the playground, Sati Anasuva,
Hmm.
a Bengali film which they were showing. There she heard that mantra and immediately it clicked to her. Then she did it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. It's amazing. I think sometimes I feel that the number of tools that are given to us as human beings, like infinite number of tools. You can take breath, you can take mantra, you can, dip yourself in scriptures. I mean, and even then, as in the prayer, Mother shares that there is torpor and lassitude, this inertia that again kind of, has the power to pull us back to the mud from which we climb again and again. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. So I think let us take up, sorry, a few lines which maybe kind of come out more for me than others. Although I think each line, if we begin to reflect as you guys were doing, I think it's already we can talk and reflect and deeply reflect and contemplate over it. But I'll be taking only a few lines since Jishnuji has already elaborated. For example, this one, perfectly awakened into the awareness of thy constant presence. This is something which comes again and again. Masters have said that the only thing that we have to do is to awaken to our enlightened nature. I mean, it's amazing to see that 24/7, as if we are sitting on a treasure, unaware of that treasure. Mostly, consciously, we are not aware of that treasure that we are sitting on. And we continue to live like beggars because we have so many demands and expectations of all sorts, little creepy crawly expectations from this world of manifestation, and we are not aware of this constant presence of consciousness in us. And while at the same time, masters have also said that it's so obvious, like Kabir would say that how can a fish remain thirsty in water while I'm swimming in the water all the time? I am consciousness all the time. Because of that, I have become conscious of a thought, conscious of a feeling. And yet, there is no identification, conscious identification with that consciousness or the presence of awareness, in other words. So I think this, for me, it serves like a mantra, that it is so simple, just again and again taking stance as this presence of consciousness, presence of awareness. Either we are meditating, sitting quietly, or either we are in the battlefield of world. Can I just again and again, when the mind just comes with a swarm of thoughts and feelings, can I just look at them, see them coming and going, and know myself as this presence of awareness and not identify with the surface consciousness? So, if that effort constantly can be there, I think it's really beautiful. And I feel that, personally feel that this identification, as in comes in mothers and prayers and meditations, that it's a long process, this stable identification and union, conscious union with this presence of awareness. So in theory, I may know that there is this awareness in me, who I truly am. But in my actions, only ego works. I don't work as awareness. I'm not conscious of what I speak or what my intentions are in the mind. And whenever intentions come which are full of bad will and ill will and all these limited tendencies that I have, if I can just become conscious of it, I think then I can fall back in knowing myself as awareness and act from that space rather than acting from the limited point of view. Okay, voice breaking. Is the voice breaking for anyone? It's breaking for Jasmine.
No.
Okay, okay. Jasmine, maybe it's your internet there somewhere. So I think, and whenever we talk about conforming to thy law, again, we many a times we fall in confusion that what is the divine will? I don't know. And as Jishnuji was talking of this diamond word called aspiration, and today I was talking with a friend who was a bit confused and sharing that मैं क्या करूं इस situation में. And I said that even nobody can tell you exactly what to do in this situation. I would not be able to tell you that. And if you really want to know what you should be doing, keep aspiring, that offer it to the divine mother, or whoever you believe in, that I am really confused in this situation, so you have to guide me, mother. Just like we go to our real mothers with a lot of that yes, I can ask my mother, almost that childlike attitude, if we can have that. I know that the mother is there, and if I really want the right action to happen, I just have to aspire and keep offering to the mother, and I will be shown the light. I think that's really certain, that we are all shown the light. And in Life Divine also, in Savitri also, Shri Aurobindo says that our errors and mistakes are his steps on the way. So even if we make errors, we are moving 1 inch closer to our own truth, 1 inch closer to our own truth. There can be no other way. So that's the divine certitude that's there at all times. So I feel that we are really in safe hands, no matter how ignorant we may be. So just this aspiration that let there be no difference between my will and thine. Usually we are not aspiring. Usually we are mostly wanting our will to be done. But when this aspiration comes that I want to do the right action, which is benefiting me and others also in the process, then if we aspire that may the right action be done for the benefit of all, I think it really, really helps. Really helps, this aspiration. So yeah, and then she again shares about this: extricate me from the illusory consciousness of my mind. I think this is very, very important. The world of its fantasies, because we are not able to see reality as it is. We are always seeing through filters. And if only we can have the humility and groundedness to admit that, since I know that I see through filters, can I be just open to receive the truth? Because I can't trust my own ideas, my own feelings. They deceive me all the times. All the time they're deceiving me. So I cannot take my feelings for true. I cannot take my thoughts for true, because there is a distorted lens in front of me. If that kind of humility is there, I think then again it leads to an intenser aspiration to be following the truth. So one is aware that there is illusory consciousness of mind, as Sri Aurobindo says that it's half lit. Our mind is half lit, it doesn't see properly. So whatever inputs come through the senses, whatever I hear, whatever I read, the mind, the layer of the mind, it interprets it is in one way. I am conditioned in one way, so I would interpret in one way. You are conditioned in your way, and you will be interpreting in your way. But it is all interpretations. It's like distortions. It's not the absolute truth that we are seeing. So if one is aware of that illusion of our senses, may we be extricated from that illusion, from its world of fantasies. Can we disidentify from our stories in the head, knowing that whatever stories are there in my head are actually not the truth, not the truth. So from time to time we have stories popping up about people in our life and relationships in our life and my own life and story about it, just to again and again disengage from the story and not to believe that that's true. I think if that can happen, then the mind can very easily come back to the present moment. And when we come back to the present moment, we see that things are relatively so nice. We can be so grateful for things are there. So let me identify, so disidentifying from the surface consciousness, and let me identify my consciousness with the absolute consciousness, for that art thou. When we take stance as the presence of consciousness in us, when I take stance as this presence of spacious awareness, which lets the thoughts come and lets the feelings go and doesn't cling to anything, I think that's what Mother shows us again and again, to take stance as this presence of consciousness, identify myself with this absolute consciousness, and disengage from the surface where the mind operates. Give me constancy in the will to attain the end, because the path is so long, so arduous, and from time to time we keep slackening. We fall in inertia. Things are okay. Why to meditate or why to do the yoga? Things are so okay. So why to bring the mind to the present? We fall in love with the stories again in the head from time to time. It's only because of our habituated patterns and nothing else. So if we want to break now our patterns or disengage from patterns, we have to put effort. And that's what Mother says, that personal effort in yoga is necessary for a long, long time before that can get dropped and a new consciousness takes place of that. So give me the constancy, this persistence, as Jishnuji was sharing, that persistence in the sadhana, that even for 5 minutes a day, can I do, in my quietness, can I just merge back as awareness, take stance as consciousness, awareness, so that throughout the 24 hours, from time to time, I get these reminders. Just 5 minutes a day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever we have time. Give me constancy in the will to attain the end. Give me firmness, because here we need discipline. Sadhana needs a kind of a discipline. Give me firmness and energy and the courage which shakes off all torpor and lassitude. So this is the basic muck that again and again calls us back. The muck of inertia, the muck of darkness of inertia. Because matter, as we know now, is full of inertia and lethargy. So we have a bodily form, and if it doesn't get awakened to its divine consciousness, so far it remains in lethargy. So we see that, actually I would like to share one experience today. It was a very common, general, daily happening, nothing out of the blue. So I was just relaxing, uh, lying down, taking stance as awareness, and I just kind of was relaxing lying down. And whenever I do it lying down, it happens that I become like half here, half there, and half sleepy. So there was a knock on the door, and there was so much lethargy, I would say, in the body. Suddenly it creeped up, that when I went to look at the door, who's there to attend to the doorbell, I suddenly realized that, okay, just because of the doorbell, now I've been wanting to get up for a long time. It's time, maybe because of the doorbell, to get up. And I could see, like, uh, half part of me wanted to lie back again down, and half part of me was wanting that, okay, now that the doorbell has woken me up, or made me stand up, why not make use of this? And then I again came back to the bed and I lie down again. I did not go back to sleep, but this reflection came very strongly, that this happens with us so many times, that we are in sleep, a knock on the door comes from time to time, either pain, suffering, some trauma, some tragedy, but we are so much in love with the sleep, the deliciousness of the sleep, that even after that knock of the door, we go back. So just like, a passing reflection came, that this is what I do from time to time, that life wants to wake me up again and again. The divine says, open the doors, and we are so much in love with the sleep that I just go back to the sleep again. So more blows are needed and more reminders are needed, as we were sharing, because the sleep is so delicious. So yes, and that's why we need the firmness and discipline, which shakes off all the laziness and inertia. Give me the peace of perfect disinterestedness. So I think this word also is very powerful, I believe, because it relates with disenchantment also, I feel. that how can I be engaged deeply in a work and yet be disinterested? I feel that this can only happen if one has realized that the world of fleeting existence, things are coming and going. There can never be a stable, lasting happiness that one can get from this world. I cannot bank upon any. Just a second. So I cannot bank upon any person. I cannot bank upon any relationship, because nothing is stable, everything is fleeting. So I think if we have had enough experiences, slowly a kind of a disenchantment comes, that you are not now interested in the world, that it will bring you happiness, because you resort to your own inner refuge or the divine to have lasting stability and happiness. And now in this state, I can just offer myself to the world in whichever way. Everyone has a different way of offering oneself to the world. So, in whatever my skills, capacities, talents, abilities are, I now, knowing that this fleeting world of impermanent things cannot give me lasting happiness, now I offer myself. Now I give myself only when I am now disinterested. So I very well am aware that whatever work I am doing, it can never add on or never subtract anything from my true nature. So I feel that there is definitely a perfect peace in disinterested work, detached work, or a disenchanted work, where you know that the work you are doing, because it suits your talents and capabilities, but it is not going to add on anything to you, or neither can failure subtract anything essential from you. So I think I relate it in that way. And one is more in peace in the inner refuge if one is not interested, because from time to time we become very curious and interested in things and work that we do. We become attached to the work that we do. But if with this kind of disinterested work, I think it really makes us more and more stable inside, solid inside. As mother says, that you make the inner world more concrete for you. Usually the outer world and manifestations are more concrete, but now I am putting more and more, making more and more real my inner world. Whatever the inner stability and solidity that I have, the ground, inner ground that we have. And in this peace we can have divine presence. We can feel very contented. And how we relate with the divine, whenever we use the word divine, we connect it with peace, we connect it with love, we connect it with kindness, compassion, generosity. We connect it with a lasting contentment. That और कहीं नहीं मिलेगा, यहाँ पे divine में I would find lasting contentment. So I think the more we make our inner refuge our solid ground, the more we feel that a divine solidity, a divine contentment is already present in our life, irrespective of the outer situations. So in this sense also, this divine presence can be felt. The peace that is ever victorious over all bad will and every obscurity. So I think the more we identify with this presence of awareness, the presence of consciousness, know myself as that, I think the more we become conscious of any ill will arising, and the more we are ready to detach from it. That I have heard your dictates enough, but this time I am not going to listen to you. I have been coming round and round in cycles of birth and death, and following your dictates, the dictates of the ego. The bad will comes from the ego. But now I am not going to follow your dictates. So in the presence of our own mindfulness of thoughts, when we are looking at our thoughts and feelings coming, if we become conscious that yes, see, I can see the ill will arising, I can see the bad will arising, I think that really helps, because then I have a breathing space in which I can choose not to act according to the dictates of the ill will, which has been a default pattern with me. So this is this peace is ever victorious if we are able to stabilize this peace, ever victorious over all bad will and every obscurity, and even bad will coming from outside. I think if we can have that solidity, stability within, that whatever we want is benefit of beings around and ourselves, then even there is bad will from outside, we can turn it away. I think there is a beautiful example by the mother in one of the prayers where she is on a ship and it is shaking, and then she goes back in her cabin, and she comes back out after meditating, sitting quietly a little, and she sees vital beings, vital entities trying to have fun by rotating the ship. And with her peace and calm and certitude, she is able to make even those vital restless entities peaceful. So that is the power of a solid peace within, I think, which only grows with time. It cannot happen just one day. Grant, I implore thee, that all in my being may be identified with thee. So each action, each thought, we are becoming more and more conscious of it. I see each action, I see each thought, and then we have the power to transmute into goodwill for everyone rather than continuing the ill will and habituated patterns. May I be nothing else than any more than a flame of love, utterly awakened to a supreme realization of thee. Again, very beautiful, as Jasmine was shared in the beginning, that each line is so beautiful that, and this is the possibility for each one of us. Mother has shown us the possibility for each one of us, because love is our true being, love is our true nature. So, can we become a flame of love, utterly awakened? Mother also gives us again and again hint how to do that. If we want to become a flame of love, utterly awakened to a supreme realization of thee. So if I am not identified with this presence of absolute consciousness in me, it is not possible for the love to awaken like a flame. So again and again, becoming conscious of the surface identification, thoughts, feelings, old habits, old patterns of thoughts, becoming conscious of them, and with this light of consciousness, being the ability to detach from those surface activities, go deeper within and take action from that presence of awareness with a disinterest. I think that's what I was able to see here. Any last reflections? Anything more? Anyone?
Neetaji, there is a poem by Tagore
Hmm.
which resonated beautifully with what you said. And if you allow, I will just read briefly. So basically, it speaks, I will just tell you the theme. It speaks, one is addressing to the divine, that you came to my house today morning, but I was asleep. And I will read. You had come in the, this is the English translation. You had come in the morn, O gracious one, a parijat flower in your hands, petal hued crimson as the sun. Slumbered the land in a deep sleep, not a wayfarer on the road. Alone you came and went in your chariot made of gold. You did halt for a moment, your eyes full of compassion, to gaze upon my casement. You had come in the morn, O gracious one. A fragrance did perfume my dreams, a thrill did run through the darkness. Silent my veena that lay in the dust, it sang out unplucked to a touch unseen. Many a time I thought I should shake off my languor and rush out. By the time I did, you were gone. Meet you, I could not anymore. You had come in the morn, O gracious one. Yes, so even Tagore must have gone through similar experience.
Beautiful, beautiful.
That's
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah. I think what Shri Aurobindo says, that in Savitri, I guess, uh, that there is a constant no from our side. Like, no, no, I don't want to get up. I don't want to get up. And eternal no, yeah. And a limping yes, I guess, yeah.
Eternal no. So he said, "This is the eternal no. Where is the everlasting yes?"
Yeah, yeah. Does he say a limping yes also, right? A limping yes, that yes, yes, I want you, but not sure, something like that.
One was, I have heard the eternal no, but where is the everlasting yes? That's what Mother has said, no, that be a compulsory optimist. She has used that term. I mean, there must be a purpose. She said, be the compulsory optimist.
Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so any last comments, reflections, anyone?
Meher Baba, you want to share now?
Yeah, actually, I'll share next time. It was about, so I have got this, just laid my hands on a book, beautiful quotations by him. And maybe I can just read one since I said it's something on desirelessness. And I thought I'll just, since we were talking of disinterest here, so I'll just read one and then. Sorry. Okay, so I can't somehow locate it. I had, yeah, it's okay. I'll share it next time. Doesn't matter. I think we have shared enough. So next time I'll share something if the moment is appropriate. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. If there is no reflection, thank you for sharing and thank you for listening together and reading together.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Shardat.
you,
Bye
everyone.
bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Monica.
Bye bye.